Good evening, everyone. Episode 8. No Limits, Mike and Stace. 8.
8.
We've had 87 listens to our shenanigans.
That's great.
And that is great. That is great.
Apparently we're going to have a bird join us this evening as well.
Yes. This is what it's like out in our backyard there. Very, very loud birds. You may be able to pick up in the distance the owl. He likes to hoot.
Yeah, our owl.
We have a really good picture of him from last year or the year before.
So cool, yeah.
I don't know. One evening came out, let the dogs out. And,
it was like a full moon that night as well.
He was hanging out right on that branch right over there. I know people can't see it, but
it was so cool.
Zoomed in on it on my wonderful Android phone and took a great picture, unlike your Apple phone that takes not so great pictures.
That's because it has to update all the time. Come on now, we can't do everything.
Oh my, funny.
But yeah, apparently Mordecai is going to join us this evening. It's fine.
Tonight's topic.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. Tonight's topic, I have to figure out how to name the actual episode.
Yeah.
But basically, it's two old motherfuckers debating.
The great debate.
That's where we're at. I don't particularly understand how we've got to this point where we have, 78 and 81. That's all the choices we have.
Personally, I feel like, Ron DeSantis should have went a little bit further. Gen X, I feel like we could have got him in there. Maybe we could have seen what he was going to do, but it's irrelevant because he hasn't gotten in there. But he's young enough that we still have time. Maybe at one point we will get to see him in there.
Yeah.
But again, he's not a choice.
Yeah, it's a damn shame that these are our choices. It's I don't know. I mean, the whole two-party system. And yes, I know that RFK he's running as independent. And there's even a couple other out there from a few other parties, but essentially it's a two-party system, and
that's what it's going to come down to.
This is absurd. I was listening to one of the people that they were interviewing on the news after the debate, and it was one of the Biden supporters, and she was talking about how bad it was, but
the debater has 4 years or both.
She was talking about his debate.
Okay.
But, that she's still, going to support him, support the Democrats. And then there was that, commercial, with that, I don't know if he was a sheriff or something.
Okay.
You remember that commercial where the guy in uniform, he's a sheriff or something? I can't remember where, but he said, that he's not gonna vote for Trump, and he's gonna vote for Biden because he's not gonna vote for somebody that divides. He's gonna vote for somebody that unites.
Okay. I mean, in theory, that sounds fabulous.
It really does.
Is that what's actually happening? No. Absolutely not.
That's the problem with this two-party system that we have. I would love to vote for somebody that would unite the two parties.
That'd be great.
I recognize myself more as an independent.
Same.
Just because I have beliefs that are on the Republican side, and I have some beliefs that are on the Democrat side.
Yeah.
So I go more, in between. When it comes time to vote, I did not vote for Creepy Joe, I can tell you that. And it's just because I financially,
$1,000.
Financially, I think things were better off, for us, when a Republican was in office. But that's really neither here nor there. The fact is, neither one of them can unite.
No, they're so far divided.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate, because most of us don't believe in everything that maybe the Republican or the Democrat. I would assume that the majority of people are in the middle.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
But we don't have anybody
to lead that
charge.
That party. Correct.
Yeah. And
it's so sad.
That's really what we need, because you have, so far right, so far left, that it's a shit show. It really is a shit show.
And the few topics that are the deciding topics don't even matter to most people, I don't think.
Like which topics don't matter to most people?
Well, the topic that I'm going to initially bring up is potentially going to be, it's a touchy subject for folks. So abortions.
Oh, good thing we didn't start that fire. I just felt the first raindrop.
Abortion is a huge deciding factor for people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and
my body, my choice. Okay, you're not wrong. But you know what? It's also your body, your responsibility. Don't get yourself into that position where you potentially have to make that choice. It's 2024. You've got the pill, you've got the IUD, you've got, I don't know if there's a shot. I mean, you can have a tubal, you can have your shit removed. There are so many choices. And listen, I'm not saying that I'm against it. I mean, you do you, friend. I mean, but it is also your responsibility. And there are so many, like if it comes down to you're in the emergency department and an unfortunate thing is happening, and it's the mother's life or the baby's life, this is a no-brainer. That is an emergency situation. Shouldn't even, it's a no-brainer, right? But if you're using this as a method of birth control, no. Get an IUD. I think that lasts for up to 10 years. Don't be irresponsible and then blame it on the government and stand there with a fucking sign. Take the pill, for Christ's sake. Go to the doctor. Handle yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's my rant on it. And again, I could care less. I couldn't care less either way. I mean, if that's your form of birth control, you do you. I mean,
It's not your responsibility.
No, but I mean, I am a Christian person, right? But I don't see it as like, the Republicans take it so far right that like that's a living being. But you're not wrong, all right? But do you have to answer for that when that woman gets up there? You don't. She has to answer for that. Mm-hmm. She needs to take control of her shit. I don't know so when that is one of the things that sways someone one way or the other, to me, it's unbelievable. It is unbelievable.
And everyone's all in an uproar because, Roe versus Wade, being overturned, and whether I believe in abortion or not, the fact of the matter is it should have been overturned. And the reason that it should have been overturned, and I believe the reason that it was overturned, is because, and here's one thing that I think the Republicans do a poor job at. They'll simply state, we gave the power back to the state. Okay. So what does that mean exactly? Like, right. Why should that matter to anybody? And the reason that it matters is because the federal government shouldn't have that much power over somebody. The more things that the federal government has power over individual decisions, you step more and more over into a communist nation than anything. So the states should, have that. And if you don't like it, then you vote somebody else in.
Right.
At the state level. But the federal government, and that's why the Supreme Court and the Republicans wanted, that to be evaluated. It's not that they necessarily wanted it to be overturned; they wanted it to be reviewed, because the federal government should not have that much power over the people.
Right.
Too much.
They've already got to have. They already have too much power over us as it is.
You can't give them absolute power.
No.
Because that corrupts. And look how corrupt it is.
Look where we are.
And I believe that was from a Marvel comic. I'm sorry. But, it's very, true in this topic. It needed to be overturned. It really did. And it's not saying that you can't have it done. And if you don't like, you live in, I think Texas has a pretty, strict, rules. If you don't like it, then vote the guy out. His next term.
If you're in a situation, then go to the state over that does allow it.
Vote him out. I mean,
I don't know.
It's much easier to, vote out your governor than it is, the president, because the president.
You're looking at a state as opposed to an entire country.
Yeah. So, if you don't like it, when next time, voting comes up, you can get rid of them.
Handle it. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the way it should be.
But I just don't understand why us women, give the government that much power. Control your shit.
Yeah.
Take the pill. Get an IUD. Go to your doctor. It's your body. It is your choice. Of course it's your choice, but it's also your responsibility. People have more power over themselves and over these things than they realize.
The things that we're going back and listening to two old farts talk, and it was very interesting because we watched the first half of it, that night live, and then took a couple days off. Actually, this evening, we just watched, or I guess this afternoon, we just watched the rest of it. So, obviously the second half of it, after the first intermission, I guess you could say, is more fresh in our minds. But
sure,
you have one that I couldn't understand half the shit he was saying.
No, we would have to look at each other and be like, "Did you understand what he just said?" Nope, not a clue.
So, and then the other one that had a very difficult time answering the question. He did. He would, let me finish what he said.
We don't care. We heard what he just said. We do not need you to deflect and circle around, circle back, and finish what he said. Answer your question.
Right. And I do like, I will say this, because I've watched, several debates, and they're usually a shit show.
Yeah.
I mean,
this was handled exceptionally well, I thought.
I can't believe I'm going to say this. CNN did a very good job with it.
Yeah, no,
the whole
really
turning
did.
off the mics and not having an audience. I think that was, I think that was good.
That was key. Yeah, they did a really good job.
Because, and especially the turning off the mics, but they also follow that, pretty well. The rules of engagement, if you will, they did follow that pretty well. But I thought that that part was handled well. But
I think we all have a difficult choice, Democrat and Republicans. This is not ideal. We all have a very difficult choice at this point. And so it's almost kind of like you're just going to vote for what you've already voted for in the past, just because what are your options?
Mm-hmm.
And as far as Trumpy being convicted on something that wasn't even really illegal, I personally could give two fucks less. Listen, what you do in your personal life, that's your business. What you do while you're in the office, in the White House, the rules that you're making, that affect us, that's what I care about. I don't care what you're doing in your personal life, nor should any of us.
Oh, I'm going to say this. I really don't care about that either. Yeah. But I think it's interesting, and by no means is this comment made to defend Trump because he's arrogant. He probably is an asshole. I don't know.
But do you care?
I don't.
I don't fucking care either.
The United States needs to be run as a business, and he ran it as a business, and that's right. But if you look at, what I was going to say was, all the, he was convicted of all of that. If you look at the base salaries of everybody in Congress, and then look at their net worth.
I mean,
they'll tell me they're all fucking criminals.
Applied mathematics tells you that something, and this is no pun intended, isn't adding up.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all fucking criminals.
Yeah.
I believe that, they don't start out that way.
Agreed.
But
just like, this is a wee bit off topic, but it does kind of tie in. But just like actors and, people that come into certain type of, I don't want to say power, but, Congress and things of that nature, you sell your soul.
Yeah, you definitely
for money.
Mm-hmm.
And it's at our expense, and it's a fucking shame.
Yeah. It is. Ultimately it comes down to, watching this debate. Is it going to change anybody's minds? Probably not. You have your people that, that they just always vote Democrat, or they always vote Republican, and that's it,
Yeah.
The variable out there, are your independents, which way, they're going to swing. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of stuff that, was questioned, some of it wasn't answered, which I would like to have, heard an answer to. Mm. I can't remember the one question, but they asked of Trump twice, and he never did answer the question. He never even touched on it. He
skirted it entirely.
Because he kept focusing on, something that Biden had said. Yeah. I didn't like that, but Joe, I didn't understand half the shit that he was saying. You're really fumbling around, and it just boggles my mind that here we are. It's 2024. The elections in November. Now, speculation is, that Biden might not even be the candidate come 6-7 weeks when the DNC is. So maybe that's the case. But as of right now, here we are, 2024. We have 78 and 81.
Yeah.
Going for that's the best we got.
Yeah, but I'm not going to stick up for Trump, but I am. He's 78 years old, and I could understand every single thing that he was saying. Yes, he's arrogant, but I mean, who cares? Do I believe in everything Republican? I really don't. I honestly probably don't even believe in more than half of it. But the way I look at it is, and I've been asked the question because I have said multiple things that I believe in, and which put me in the independent category. But I've been asked before, well, why do you consider yourself a Republican then? Well, because I feel like I was better off. I'm always better off financially when there's a Republican in office.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about all those other things. I mean, I'm not saying that. Okay, let me reword that. I of course do care about those other things, but we're always going to be a free country, right? Hopefully. So hopefully there will always be the choice to have all of those things that you people feel, well, some people feel like are going to get taken off of them. And that gets brought up and they get nervous. So they automatically vote Democrat. People need to really do your research. Think. How were you financially? How was our country? Did you feel safe, right? When there's a Republican in office, how are you right now? Now, if you're freeloading off the government, you're fucking golden.
Sure.
That's not our case. And to be honest with you, that's not the majority of the folks in America's case, right? The majority of people are hardworking, and it is the bottom line that actually matters. All of these other things that are personal issues, the government shouldn't have any control over, regardless. So if there's a Democrat in there and they just stand on their high horse and you can have freedom for this and blah, 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 but you can as well with a Republican. Nothing changes as far as that goes. And I'm not going to elaborate, but those of you, I think, especially you know what I'm talking about as far as rights go.
Yeah, things that matter to me, inflation. You look at, the cost of, everything. Where 4 years ago, when we would go to Aldi's, so we go to Aldi's for the vast majority of our groceries, and then we go to Shop and Save, for a few other things that, we want, specific brands, I guess you would say.
Sure.
But, all our fruits, vegetables, everything like that, we would get at Aldi's, and it was never over $50.
No.
Now, it's about $70.
Yeah, for the same exact things. We literally get the same exact things.
It's $70.
But Sleepy says that he has nothing to do with inflation. He points the finger, blames it on Trumpy.
And look at our electric bill. So the electric bill. Now, our gas bill, and this will be for anybody that doesn't have it. If you have a means to get the spray and foam insulation into your walls, I highly recommend it. We had that done,
probably 3 years ago, I want to say.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But we had somebody come in, and they drill on the exterior through the brick, or actually through the mortar, and they put it, and they even do the block for the downstairs. And so we had that put in, and then we had the blown-in cellulose in the attic. But our gas bill is nothing.
And it definitely keeps the house very comfortable. It's really nice.
Even in the wintertime, and we're in Western Pennsylvania, the gas bill's nothing. I mean, it's insane. And then the other night, we were sitting watching TV. Was it the debate night? That there was the bad storms and the tornadoes?
I don't remember. We've had it's been pretty.
I think it was.
Yeah.
But we're sitting there watching that. I didn't know what was happening.
No, because everything sounds so different outside.
It pretty much soundproofs everything. So, but anyhow, so if you have a means to get the foam insulation, I highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It works wonders, especially in wintertime. It doesn't do quite as good in the summertime.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But it definitely regulates the temperature. But it works really, really good. But anyhow, so our gas bill, it's not too much. It would be, I'm sure, if we didn't have that.
Yeah.
But our electric bill, and the funny thing is about the electric bill, if you think about it. So, when did the electric bill go up? It did not go up as soon as Biden got in.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as Biden started signing into laws the different things about the electric vehicles,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it went up.
Yeah. That's valid.
More mandates on electric vehicles means more.
'Cause electric is so much cleaner, you know? Did you know that?
More impact on the grid.
That was
More
sarcasm.
impact on the grid, higher the price. So it didn't happen immediately. So, people are like, oh, well, no, it was fine. No, as soon as that mandate started hitting, that's when the prices started, and it wasn't creeping up.
Oh, no, it
jumped.
was immediate. Like, we got the bill, and I was like, oh, my God, how in the frick did we use this much electric? And it's just been up since then. It never went back down.
And we don't. Like, our consumption...
Like, it went up like 150%.
It's the same.
In a month. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah. It's if you look back, if you could go back and look at the trend, in the wintertime, it would be, here.
Yeah.
And then in the summertime, it would be up. And then in the wintertime, it would go back down. Well, the usage still does that. So it has its peaks and it has its valleys.
Which is normal. Natural. Yeah.
Yep, it's normal. However, the price does not have peaks and valleys.
No, it's just up,
and
up.
that's when it all changed. So it's things like that. Inflation. That have an impact on us. Things that that we care about.
I also like how, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm going to go ahead and change the subject a little bit here. I also like how Sleepy is taking credit for creation of all these jobs.
Oh, the bounce back jobs.
The jobs that he is taking credit for are the jobs that were non-existent due to the fucking government virus that everybody got sent home for and weren't allowed to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So of course because all those people were on unemployment all that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then they, of course, as things started opening back up, people started going back to work. That's where those jobs came from. So it's a facade. Like the credit that he is taking is for jobs that were there 4 years ago and then
pre-Rona.
were non-existent due to the Rona. And then, of course, everybody went back to work. He's taking credit for that. And the reporting of it is the people that are just not applying for unemployment anymore. No, because they're probably on Social Security disability.
Yeah. And so those are the bounce back jobs that he's taking credit for.
Right.
It's funny if you listen, if anybody wants to go back, and maybe I'm wrong, maybe I heard wrong, but I don't think I did. When they were first talking about that,
mm-hmm.
Joe said 15,000 jobs is what they added. And I'm like, yeah, that's about right. And then later, it was 15 million.
Oh.
No, I really think it was probably only 15,000
yeah.
Weekend at Bernie's. I mean, come on now.
Right.
And they were all like I said, the bounce back jobs,
right.
As they're called. So, yeah.
And then our borders. This is, from what you can decipher from what good old Sleepy said, right? That this is the safest that they've ever been. Okay, well, I mean, we watch the news. We watch,
right.
That is so not accurate. It was much more safe when Trump was in there.
I don't have a problem with people coming into the country.
Of course not.
You want to be an immigrant and come over here? Cool.
Essentially, I feel like we all came from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's fabulous.
Yes. The vast majority of us are immigrants.
That is what makes America
right.
so great.
However, You have to do it legally.
Well, from other things that I've heard, they know which officers to go to. I guess there's 2 officers in green and officers in brown. And this is just from something else that I've heard. When they run across the Mexican border, and if they go to, and I don't have any idea which one it is, but if they go to one of the colors, then they get detained and they only have to do, a little bit of whatever. And then they get to stay here. But if they go to the other one, then I think that they will get sent back. So they know which ones to run to. Because they know that, like, hey, if we go to the ones in green, we'll get detained or whatever, but we'll get to stay. Because it's like 10 years before they get their day in court. Well, by then, they're already established. It's been 10 years. I mean, they probably have a family here and whatnot. And I mean, nothing against it at all. Just do it the right way.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't
see
have a
us
problem.
running to other countries. I mean, it's just very frustrating. And then they come over here and we take care of them.
And that's the kicker of it all.
And some of them aren't great people. So it's
even if they were all
so safe.
Great people, the fact is we take care of them. And that's a problem, because where's that money coming from?
It's coming from all of us.
It's coming from all of us.
Yes.
And you gotta, if you're going to allow that, you have to limit it.
Of course.
I mean, all you're doing, you're tapping out the people that are paying your salary. Oh wait, your salary's X amount of dollars, but your net worth is 20 times that.
Yeah, because not all their money's coming from us.
Maybe we're not paying their salary.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so that's insanity.
Did you see the video as well when it was wrapping up, and Jill, Mrs. Sleepy, came out and was clapping, and she was like, "Good job, Joe. You did such a great job answering all your questions," and da-da-da. First of all, we didn't understand half the shit that he said. And, you're going to take him for a cookie and milk and then nappy time?
Sounds like she's going to give him a trophy.
Well, clearly he's not a millennial or a Gen Z.
I mean, that's what it sounds like. She's going to give him a trophy.
Time for cookies and milk and nappy. And that is our president, folks. Yeah.
I'd say it's time to move, but I'm not going to be a Whoopi Goldberg and say that and not mean it. So
no.
We're not moving.
I mean,
maybe
the
move
thing
states,
of it is,
at some point, but
we're not. There's another thing that upsets me is that when people are so against MAGA, the Make America Great Again is essentially what MAGA is, right? If you live here, who doesn't want America to be great? Mm-hmm. So the people that are against that, I just look at them and think, what? America is great. Mm-hmm. Why wouldn't you want it to be great? I don't understand the anti-MAGA folks.
And I agree, also that I think, a lot of things that are happening, elsewhere, when I say elsewhere, I say other countries. I don't think that these other countries have the fear of the U.S. As they did before. And that's why, some of these things are happening. I did read an article probably a couple months ago, and they were talking about, maybe it wasn't a couple months ago. It was sometime after that Tucker Carlson had that interview with Putin. Putin wants Biden in.
Of course he does.
Because he knows what he's going to do.
Right.
Doesn't want somebody like Trump in because he's unpredictable.
Yeah, he is unpredictable.
But that's what you need.
Do we not remember in what movie, it was just obviously a depiction, but what movie was that? Pearl Harbor. where
the bird just came out of the.
I thought I saw it.
Did? We have a flower pot hanging in the back, and a bird made a nest in it.
Which I'm definitely gonna have to creep because I want to see we have little eggs in there because I love that. But back on topic.
Okay.
It was Pearl Harbor. And do you remember the scene where
Sleeping giant?
I believe we have awakened the sleeping giant. I'll never forget that as long as I live. And it's, in other words, it was like, you don't mess with America. I mean, that was a long time ago. I don't necessarily think that countries have that fear
they
anymore. Don't. And they should. They should.
And I don't like, whether you support the war in Ukraine or not. I do not like the fact that we have now authorized the Ukrainians, to use weapons that we provide to target into Russia. That makes me nervous. I don't like that.
I'm going to say one thing. Where was everybody else when we had 9/11? I'm going to leave it at that. We literally are funding and have our hands everywhere. We as America. But where was everybody else when we needed them?
And we have this huge deficit.
Yeah, because we're sending money here and we're sending money there. And we have
all these veterans that are homeless.
Which, oh my God, don't even get me started on that. If it weren't for these folks I'm going to cry because it's like a whole thing at back in the day when they were like 17 and they weren't even graduated from high school yet. And they signed on that dotted line, they signed their life for us to be free, right? Mm-hmm. And the things that they've seen and the things that I can't even imagine. And for America to turn its back on them, wow, does that piss me off, because we wouldn't be free. And we wouldn't be the country that we are today if it wasn't for those folks who put their lives on the line every day for us. And if anybody is listening or would listen, just thank you.
Yeah, and it was 22? Every 22 seconds, somebody in the military takes their own life.
It's literally the most messed up thing ever.
Yes.
We need to take care of them because they take care of us.
Take care of them well before you take care of these fucking illegal immigrants. And quite frankly, take care of them before you take care of the druggies, because you gotta thin out the herd. But our military, you gotta take care of them. So.
Yeah. For sure.
So I see you're getting all emotional over there, so we should probably...
I mean, I'm just saying that, like, you are 100% right, and that, that always strikes a nerve with me.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Oh,
they're the reason America is great.
You got that right. We'll go ahead and
wrap it up.
Wrap this one up.
Yeah. I think we said what we wanted to say, right?
Yeah, two old motherfuckers debating.
Of course, let's not forget that they also had a pissing match on who was better at golf.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
They did.
And to be quite frank about that, nobody cares. I mean, I don't care how good you are at golf. Hubs doesn't care how good you are at golf.
No.
What are you going to do for us?
Right. Exactly. I don't give a fuck.
No.
So, all right. Well, that's it for episode number 8. Mike and Stace signing off.
Have a good week, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.